Hey everybody, it's Miss A here, and I'm here with a story. We are working on fables or folk tales, and we identify that these are fables and folk tales by when we see retold. That usually means that the person that's telling the story is not the original author, that they heard it from someone else or they read it from someone else and they're giving their version, or they're following the moral that they learned from a particular story and giving it to a new set of characters. Typically in folk tales or fables, we have characters that are non-human. Sometimes they are human, but typically they're non-human, but they possess human characteristics. Possess means to have. And that particular type of theme is called personification. When a non-human thing possesses human characteristics, like they're able to talk or walk or think like a human does, or do actions that a human would do. So, for example, in this story, we have a turtle, and this turtle is thinking and talking, and that's not something that a human does, or a turtle does. They think, but they don't think like a human, and when they do that particular stuff, that's called personification. So in fables or folk tales, you have these animals or things that do something. They do actions, and then you are to learn something from these actions. So we're going to read this aloud. Remember, actions are verbs. So we're going to look, and I've highlighted here like the word lived. That's a verb. So that's an action. That's something that a character is doing. And we will identify which characters are doing certain things, and we will text code them based on the character. So we will text code, in particular, we have turtle and beaver. We will be text coding with a T or a B in this particular story. T is for turtle, and B will be for beaver. So we will be text coding a T and a B for turtle and beaver. So as I read this story aloud, I want you to track along with your writing utensil, your pencil or pen, or even your highlighter, because we will be using that first to highlight the action words, and then we'll go back into the text to underline and text code based on the character which does the action. So please follow along as I read Turtle Races with Beaver. This story is retold by Michael Kudodo and Joseph Baracci. Long ago, Turtle lived in a small pond. It was a fine place. There were alder trees along the bank to give shade, and a fine grassy bank where Turtle could crawl out of and sun himself. There were plenty of fish for Turtle to catch. The small pond had everything any turtle could ever want, and Turtle thought his pond was the finest place in the whole world. Turtle spent his time swimming around, sunning himself, and catching fish whenever he was hungry. So it went until the cold winds began to blow down from the north. "Ah," Turtle said, "it's time for me to go to sleep." Then he dove down to the bottom of the pond and burrowed into the mud. He went to sleep for the winter. He slept so soundly, in fact, that he slept a little later than usual and did not wake up until it was late in the spring. The warming waters of the pond woke him, and he crawled out of the mud and began to swim toward the surface. Something was wrong, though for it seemed to take much too long to get to the surface of his small pond. Turtle was certain that the water had not been that deep when he went to sleep. As soon as Turtle reached the surface and looked around, he saw that things were not as they should be. His small pond was more than twice its normal size. I'm going to stop there for a moment, and I want you to think about you need to make an inference. Remember, an inference is taking what you've read, the information you've read, and we just read his small pond was more than twice its normal size. Go ahead and circle that. His small pond was more than twice its normal size. Circle that, and I want you to think your background knowledge about a pond is water. What do you think could have made his pond more than twice its normal size? I want you to think about that, and you can talk with your peers for a moment. All right, now that you've been able to discuss with your peers about what might have made this small pond more than twice its normal size. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pause. The teacher should pause the video now, and when you come back, we will discuss some of the reasons. Hopefully, someone said probably more rain. And why do you think more rain caused the pond to get bigger? Well, we have to remember that it did say on the last page that Turtle slept much later than he normally did. And living in Florida, we know that spring showers brings May flowers. So we do tend to get more rain in that spring, and that's when the water would warm up. His fine grassy bank was for sunning himself was underwater. His beautiful alder trees had been cut down and made into a big dam. So now that we have more information, we before may have inferred that maybe more rain might have made his pond twice his size, but now we know that the big dam, and I'm going to circle that, a big dam is playing a part. The trees were cut down and they were used to stop up the water, and that caused the water to rise twice its size. So our inference before is maybe it rained and that's what caused the pond to be twice the size, and that is definitely true. That could be true, but now that we have more information from the text, we know that the water was probably stopped up by these dams. Let's continue to read. "Who has done this to my pond?" Turtle said. Just then Turtle heard a loud sound. Whap! Turtle turned to look and saw a strange animal swimming toward him across the surface of the pond. It had a big flat tail, and as it came close to the turtle, it lifted it up, that big flat tail, and hit the surface of the water with it. Whap! "Who are you?" Turtle said. "What are you doing in my pond? What have you done with my beautiful trees?" Now you can hear in Turtle's voice, because I'm reading for Turtle, that Turtle is probably what emotion right now. And let me read it again. "Who are you?" Turtle said. "What are you doing in my pond? What have you done with my beautiful trees?" So based on the way that I read it, you can tell that Turtle is probably pretty mad. Why do we think Turtle's mad? Well, going back into the text, we can see that Turtle's upset because his trees have been, from up here, cut down and made into a dam. And his water level, his grassy area for sunning himself, well, back into the text, that is underwater. So Turtle is probably pretty upset. "Huh?" the strange animal said. "This is not your pond. This is my pond. I am Beaver, and I cut down those trees with my teeth, and I built that dam and made this pond nice and deep. This is my pond, and you must leave." "No," Turtle said. "This is my pond. If you do not leave, I will fight you. I am a great warrior." "Huh?" Beaver said. "That is good. Let us fight. I will call all my relatives to help me, and they will chew your head off with their strong teeth." Turtle looked closely at Beaver's teeth. They were long and yellow and looked very sharp. "Ha," Turtle said. "I can see it would be too easy to fight you. Instead, we should have a contest to decide which of us will leave this pond forever." "Huh," Beaver said. "That is a good idea. Let us see who can stay underwater for the longest. I can stay under for a whole day." As soon as Beaver said that, Turtle saw he would have to think of a different contest. He had been about to suggest that they see who would stay underwater the longest, but if what Beaver said was true, then he would beat Turtle. "Huh," Turtle said. "It would be too easy to defeat you that way. Let us have a race instead. The first one to reach the other side of the pond is the winner. The loser must leave my pond forever." "Huh," Beaver said. "That is a good contest. I am the fastest swimmer of all. When I win, you will have to leave my pond forever. Let us begin the race." "Wait," Turtle said. "I am such a fast swimmer that it would not be fair unless I started from behind you." Then Turtle placed himself behind Beaver, right next to Beaver's big tail. "I am ready," Turtle said. "Let us begin." Let's turn the page. Beaver began to swim. He was such a fast swimmer that Turtle could barely keep up with him. When they were halfway across the pond, Turtle began to fall even further behind. But Turtle had a plan. He stuck out his long neck and grabbed Beaver's tail in his jaws. Beaver felt something grab his tail, but he could not look back. He was too busy swimming, trying to win the race. He swung his tail back and forth, but Turtle held on tight. Now Beaver was almost to the other side of the pond. Turtle bit down even harder. Beaver swung his tail high up into the air, trying to shake free whatever had hold of him. Just as Beaver's tail reached the top of its swing, Turtle let go. He flew through the air and landed on the bank. Beaver looked up, and there was Turtle. Turtle had won the race. Turn your packet over. So it was Beaver that had to leave, and Turtle once again had his pond to himself. With its new, deeper waters, there were soon even more fish than there had been before, and Turtle's elder trees grew back once more. Truly, Turtle's Pond was the finest place in the whole world. All right, so we just read this text. Miss Angelo read it aloud for you, and we're going to focus on those action words, because when we're talking about a folk tale or fairy tale, we are talking about the actions that the characters do, and are they moral or not? So what do you learn from them, the morality of them? So I'm going back to the beginning of the text, and we're going to look for those action words, and we're highlighting those actions. Remember, actions are things that you can do. So those action words are things that they can do. And we already started here with turtle lived in a small pond. It was a fine place. There were elder trees along the bank to give shade, and a fine grassy bank where turtle could crawl. And these are actions that he does. Crawl out and sun himself. So I've highlighted these two verbs